Hello, welcome to the morning news. Our top story takes us to Ecuador's capital, Quito. Right-wing opposition protesters again took to the streets to express their rejection to President Rafael Correa's proposal to tax the inheritances and property sales of the rich. They have reacted adversely because historically they have paid very little or no tax. On social media, they have called on the military to intervene and possibly mount a coup. Last week, protests turned violent. Bottles were thrown at ruling party members, and one person was injured. President Correa has called the protest an attempt to destabilize the government. The new law only affects 2% of the population.
Esta convocatoria al Domingo Negro, que es parte...
The protest on Sunday is a part of a series of actions very similar to those destabilization attempts in Venezuela and other countries in the region, which are destined to fail. They are isolated and the citizenship has not responded to their calls.
La Revolución Ciudadana.
President Rafael Correa has called for a massive rally scheduled to take place in the following hours. He said his government and supporters will not give in to opposition attempts to destabilize the country. He also said that they would resist coup attempts, as they did so in 2012. And now to a roundup of news from Latin America.
Venezuelan President of Parliament Diosdado Cabello and the country's foreign minister met with Thomas Shannon, who is the U.S. counselor to the Secretary of State. The meeting took place in Haiti and was mediated by the island nation's president Michel Martelly. The officials centered their talks on normalizing their relations, which became particularly tense in December after President Obama's arbitrary decision to order sanctions against the South American country. Obama's actions have been condemned by governments around the world. Bolivian President Evo Morales called on the EU nations to abandon the International Monetary Fund and join forces with Latin America to become independent. He compared the IMF with US imperial dominance. Morales said Washington no longer governs Bolivia. The president assured that due to that, Bolivia is showing significant economic growth. The wife of former Mexican President Felipe Calderón, Margarita Zavala, announced she is running for president in 2018. She left open the possibility of being an independent candidate. She is a right-wing National Action Party member who has been in conflict with the PAN leadership since Calderón abandoned the party in 2012. PAN leader Gustavo Madero rejected her candidacy to the lower house of Congress in the June 7 elections. Her husband is responsible for declaring the bloody war on drugs that has left about 100,000 people dead and tens of thousands disappeared. Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos ordered the armed forces to intensify their offensive against FARC leftist rebels. Santos also said his administration would not accept the bilateral ceasefire the rebels have been calling for. He said the only way for a bilateral truce was through a peace agreement. The president called on the FARC rebels to quickly accept an accord in Havana, where the peace talks have been taking place since December 2012.
The order given to the armed forces, and I've repeated this to them this morning, is to be tougher and to maintain the military offensive.
The Colombian army killed a Marxist rebel commander from the country's second-largest guerrilla group, ELN, or National Liberation Army. José Amin Hernández, known by his war name Marquitos, was killed during combat in rural Segovia municipality in the northwestern province of Antioquia. Hernández commanded 13 ELN units in Antioquia and Bolívar provinces. Colombia faces a 5-decade civil war that has left over 220 people dead.
We now go to our world news roundup.
The US is planning to store massive heavy military equipment in Eastern Europe to build up the region's defense capabilities. This is a Pentagon proposal which, if approved, will be the first time Washington stations heavy weaponry in countries once under Russia's sphere of influence, including Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. Arms will also be stored in Poland, Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria. This is a part of US and NATO measures to strengthen defense forces in the region. Russian President Vladimir Putin has once again denied his country is the aggressor, as Washington and NATO have claimed to justify their plans in Eastern Europe. The UN has announced it will carry out DNA testing to resolve paternity claims by sexual abuse victims of its peacekeepers. The results could link the paternity of alleged sex abuse of minors in 4 cases out of a dozen in complaints filed in 2014. The UN peacekeepers have been accused of sexually abusing women and girls in Haiti, Democratic Republic of Congo and Mali. A United Nations report revealed that sex exploitation by its peacekeepers is massively underreported.
any allegations of sexual violence, sexual abuse by peacekeepers is to be condemned and is not to be tolerated. And we would hope that anyone who is involved in this type of activity be fully prosecuted and investigated by the countries that have the authority over them.
Pope Francis said he plans to accuse energy companies of hoarding the planet's resources at the expense of the poor. He will also urge the rich to consume less and share more. The Pope said the next Thursday he will send out his first circular, which will be a call for an ethical and economic revolution to prevent catastrophic climate change. Greece and its European creditors again failed to broker a deal regarding Athens' debt. The European Commission noticed some progress but insisted the leftist government of Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras needs to further cut public worker wages and pensions. Tsipras has vowed not to resort to any more austerity measures. Without a deal for new loans, the government of Athens could run out of cash in early July, forcing the fall of Greece's exit from the Eurozone. I blame Europe. They put a lot of pressure on us, a lot of pressure. We have austerity. How much more austerity can there be in Greece? The European Union needs to lower its demand. The Israeli government is attempting to avert international prosecution in connection with the killing of 4 boys in Gaza while they were playing football on a beach. Military officials said the killing of the Baker boys in an airstrike last year was a case of mistaken identity that does not warrant criminal charges. The crime was witnessed by several foreign reporters. The parents of the boys have criticized Israel's statement.
Israel decides for itself what is true or not true. All the free nations are supporting us. We have the right, and we will achieve victory because we have the right. Our children were playing at the beach. What have they done to be killed in cold blood?
Consultations for peace in Yemen are scheduled to begin in the next hours in Geneva. The anti-government Houthi forces in Yemen have expressed their lack of trust in the talks. The meeting will be the first of its kind to involve the different sides of the Yemeni conflict. The people of Yemen do have their hopes set on the consultations, which in peace will return to their country. At least 1,400 people have been killed and 4,000 others wounded in the air raids by the Saudi-led coalition forces that began on March 26.
We go to Chile, where the Venezuelan football team made history by winning their debut match 1-0 against Colombia. Zenit St. Petersburg striker Salomon Rondon scored the goal for Venezuela. Colombia is a favorite in the 44th edition of the Copa America, with a team that includes Real Madrid's James Rodriguez and Manchester United's Radamel Falcao. Brazil barely won their game against the fierce Peru. The game ended 2-1. Brazil now has 11 consecutive wins. Peru got off to a dream start after just 3 minutes with an unexpected opener to Christian Cueva. Peru's lead lasted just 2 minutes as Dani Alves stroked a lovely cross into the box where an unmarked Neymar hit some of his 44th international goal in 64 matches. And in the following hours, Chile will face Mexico in their second game and host of the Copa America. Chile beat Ecuador last week in the opening match of the event in the last 20 minutes with 2 goals. Mexico tied against Bolivia. They are now scheduled to play Ecuador. More on these on our website, telesurtv.net/English. Thanks for watching and have a good day.